What's up, guys? A lot of y'all been asking me some questions over slope, so I'll be posting this on YouTube and Google Classroom. Low key trying to go viral on YouTube and being on the Ellen Show, so y'all can go ahead and like that page and subscribe to that. It'd be awesome. All right, so anyways, getting started here. All right, so like I said, a lot of y'all had some questions, so we're gonna start with slope intercept form. Okay, so this is slope intercept form, so I'm gonna abbreviate it slope. Okay, slope int. Hold on, slope int form. Okay, so slope intercept form. All right, so it's y equals mx plus b. Alright, this is the basics. This is on your star chart and whatnot, so on and so forth. Okay, so m, I know it's been a minute. M is your slope. Alright, m is your slope. And then b is your y-intercept. Okay, so b is your y-intercept. So it's like your starting point on the graph. Alright, y-intercept. So make sure you're writing this. Okay, you remember 60-80% of what you write down, only 2% if you just listen to it. So I can give you the best lesson, but if you ain't writing it down, you're gonna remember. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna do some example problems. Alright. So if you're like, oh, you're moving way too fast, pause the video, rewind it, and then just go back to it. Alright, so I'm going to give you an example. Y equals 3x, okay, 3x, that's an x, plus 7. Okay, y equals 3x plus 7. So literally going back to this slide, if you look, literally the number in front of the x is your slope. So looking here, the number in front of x is 3. So therefore, your slope is 3. Okay? So m equals 3. It's as easy as that. Okay? And the b, the whole b, okay, plus or minus, okay, is your y-intercept. So if you're coming right here, okay, your y-intercept, okay, let me use the other color I was using. Okay, your y-intercept is positive 7. Alright, so b equals positive 7. Okay, it's literally as easy as that. Alright, so if I go to my graph too, so I'm going to click over here to this. If I go to my graph, alright, so and I click y equals, okay, so it was 3x plus 7. Okay, so y equals 3x plus 7, and then I graph it. Alright, so my starting point, my y-intercept is literally right here. Okay, so so my y-intercept is literally right here. Okay, this little spot right there. That's my y-intercept. Alright, and then the slope is 3. Okay, so the starting point is your y-intercept. Alright, let me do one more for you real quick. Alright, let me erase this. Like I said, if I'm going way too fast, rewind the video and just watch it again. Alright, so let's do one. So y equals, okay, negative 2x, okay, minus 8. Okay, y equals negative 2x minus 8. Alright, so once again, literally the number in front of the x is negative 2. The number in front of x is a slope. It's literally that easy. Okay, so the number in front of x is negative 2. So m equals, okay, negative 2. Okay, and then the y-intercept, okay, is right here, is b. Okay, so the y-intercept, yes, you have to take the negative with it. Okay, so your y-intercept, notice on the first one, if you rewind the video, I circled the plus sign. So go ahead and circle the minus sign with this. Okay, so b equals, all right, b equals negative 8. Okay, b equals -8. All right, so your y-intercept is -8 in this case. Okay, y-intercept is -8. All right, let's do one more real quick. I'll do one with a fraction because some of the quizzes had a fraction on it and so on and so forth. Okay, and then I'll do a table and all that. All right, so let's do one more real quick. Y, that's a y, equals -1/8 x minus 2. Okay, minus 2. Alright, so once again, to be consistent with the slides, alright, so your slope is -1/8. Okay, so if you're like, oh, my y-intercept is +2, no, take the negative sign with it. Remember, alright, so your whole y-intercept would be -2. Okay, so b equals -2. That's your y-intercept, and then m equals -1/8. Okay, -1/8. All right, as easy as that. Okay, so I'm gonna do like questions 1, 10, and 13 on the quizzes. Okay, so if we go to this right here. All right, so if we transition to this, so find the slope of this. So if you see, only 39% of the people got it right. All right, so if you look at this graph, okay, it is going up. All right, so it's moving up. So so if I look at this graph, okay, if I read the graph from left to right, I'm going up the mountain, up the ski slope. So I should have a positive slope. All right, so you should eliminate, okay, -2/3 and -3 because you're ascending up the mountain. How do you know that? You read the graph from left to right, you're going up the mountain. Okay, so you got to pick 2 points. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. I'm going to show you how to set up a t-chart. Remember, whenever you see a graph, you always set up a t-chart for slope. Okay, so, and I'm also going to teach you the way the high school is going to have you learn it next year. And this is super important because that's how the high school is going to have you do it, and that's how you're going to do it moving forward. Okay, so let's go to make a t-chart. So 3, 1, you can only pick, or remember, pick 2 points. So you can either pick this one and this one, or this one and this one, or these two right here. It doesn't matter. You can pick 3, 1, -1, -5. You can use -1, -5, -1, +1, -2, so on and so forth. Alright, so I'm just going to use the first two. I'm going to make a t-chart real quick. Alright, so on their t-chart, if it's been a minute, alright, so you make a t. Remember, I like making this up a little more. These are your x's, okay, these are your x's, and then these are your y's. Okay, so these are your x's and these are your y's. So if I come to here, my x is 3, my y is 1. So remember, you write a coordinate x, y. Okay, so you write a coordinate like this, ordered pair like this. So you go x, remember, comma, and then y. Okay, so that's in case you forgot. Remember, you do your alphabet A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. X comes first, so x always comes first, then y. So what number comes first in this? Okay, 3 comes first in this, so your x would be 3. Okay, so x would be 3, and then my y would be 1. Okay, y would be 1. Alright, so go to that, y is 1. Okay, so let me pick one more point. Like I said, if you're confused earlier, you can either pick 1, -2, or -1, -5, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to use 1, -2. Okay, so my x is 1 because it comes first. My x would be 1, okay, and my y, sorry, I keep going on the wrong slide, my y would be -2 because it comes second. Okay, y would be, what number was it? -2. Okay. Okay, -2. Alright, so I found this free calculator software for up to 90 days, the TI-84 calculator, alright, which is this one right here. Alright, wait, you can't see it, which is this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, you can download it, okay, on the online. If you Google TI-84 free, and it's up to 3 months, so it's really a lot of help. So you're gonna hit mode, or not mode, I'm sorry, not mode, not this button, don't hit that. Okay, my bad. You hit stat. Okay, it should bring this up, and then you hit enter. Okay, remember your L1 column, I already have some numbers in here. Your L1 column goes up and down, okay, are your X's. Alright, and then your L2 column are your Y's. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type this in. So 3, you hit 3, and then you hit enter, remember, and then you hit 1, enter, okay, and then my other coordinates were 1, -2. So 1, enter, over arrow, -2, enter. Let me make sure you're seeing this. Yes. Okay, and then once you get done with that, you go to stat. Okay, you go over to over arrow, you go down to, go down to linreg. Okay, hit enter, hit the down arrow to calculate, hit enter, and there you go. Your slope is 1.5 and B is -3.5. If you're like, well, it doesn't say M, you're right. Remember, on the calculator, okay, A is your slope. Okay, A is slope, B is the y-intercept. Okay, so once again, A is slope. So A is 1.5. Okay, so if I come back here, okay, A is 1.5, B is -3.5. So I'm going to write that down. Okay, so A equals, hold up. Okay, so A equals 1.5. Okay, 1.5. Okay, and then B is -3.5. So B is -3.5. Okay, B equals -3.5. Okay, so that A is your slope. Okay, A in the calculator is slope. Once again, A is slope. It's the same thing as M. Okay, so if I come over to this slide, okay, you can also write A means slope. Okay, which is A. Okay, put A in parentheses. Okay, A is slope. Now, if you're like, the answer choice doesn't have that. Okay, if you go, oh, my bad, hold on. If you're like, you go back over here and you're like, well, the answer choices have -2/3, 3/2, -3, 15. It doesn't have it. Remember, okay, if you type in, okay, you know your answer is 1.5. So 1.5. All right, you hit math. Remember, enter, enter, and it changes it to a fraction, 3/2. Just because you're like, oh, 1.5, I guess it's D because it has 1 and a 5 in it. No, remember, hit math, enter, enter. So 1.5, you can type it in, math, enter, enter. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right, let me do one more problem, and then let me do one more problem, and then give me a second. I'm trying to find one. I think it was 110. All right, I'll do a table problem. Okay, a table problem. A lot of people got that right. I'm kind of looking. Let me see which one is the least or the most missed one. I think number 1 was. Let me see here. Yeah, number 1 was not good. Okay. So going to number 1. All right, number 1. Only 32% of people got this right. Okay, so looking at this graph, anytime you see a graph, make a T-chart, which is like this. This is a T-chart. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase our old points. Okay, remember, say your alphabet, X comes first, then Y. So X is the first letter, then Y. Alright, so going over here, okay, so looking at this, you got to pick 2 points. There's literally 2 points here for you. So you got to walk before you climb. So you do your X first. So you walk. So you start at the origin, which is the very middle. You walk 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you're like, well, you're going to the left or right. Remember, when you move to the left of the left of the coordinate grid, it's negative. And I can draw this for you if you're trying to explain or you're trying to do this with your parents or someone. Okay, so here's your coordinate grid. Okay, if you move to the right, it's a positive X. Okay, if you move to the left, it is a negative X. Okay, so we moved to the left in this. You move to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be -4. Okay, so that's just if you're explaining to somebody you forgot. If you move up on the y, it's positive y. Okay, if you move down, it's a negative y. Okay, it's just a little insight. All right, I'm gonna erase this real quick because I don't want this in the way. Okay, so if you lost it or whatever, just rewind the video. Alright, so since I'm moving to the left, it's the negative x, so it'd be -1, -2, -3, -4. So my x would be -4, okay? So -4, and then when I move up and down, it affects my y, okay? So when I move up and down, it affects my y. So I moved to the left, -1, -2, -3, -4. Move up 1, my y would be 1. Okay, y would be 1. Alright, now let me go to the other point. Let's do the other point. Okay, so you start at the very middle, which is the origin, 0, 0. Since I'm moving to the left to get to this dot, you gotta walk 1, -1. Since you're moving to the left, -2. So my x would be -2, and I move down 1, it'd be -1. So restart, so -1, -2. So -2, -1. Alright, so my new coordinates would be -2, -1. So I'll come over here, -2, okay, -2, and then this one would be -1. Alright, so now I have my t-chart, which I'm good to go. Alright, so all you got to do is plug this into the calculator. I'm going to explain it the way the high school does it too, so you got to learn both ways. So I'm going to do the calculator real quickly, okay, so you just clear it. You go to stat again, you hit enter. Okay, this is the way I'm teaching it this year. I'm going to teach you the other way. The high school wants you to do it a lot too. It's going to get you prepared for next year. Okay, so type in your old coordinates, or not your old coordinates, your new coordinates, which would be -4, 1. Okay, so -4, 1. So -4, enter, and then 1, enter. Okay, and then our other coordinates were -2, -1. Let me make sure. Yeah, -2, -1. Alright, -2, enter, -1. Okay, so there's that way. Alright, so you hit stat. Remember, now you hit the over arrow. Okay, you go down to 4, len reg, hit enter. Go all the way down to calculate, hit enter. Okay, and your slope would be -1 and your y-intercept's -3. So going back, remember, slope A, okay, A is slope and then B is y-intercept. Okay, so your slope is -1, your B is -3. Okay, so going over to this, you should have got -1. Okay, if you picked B, if you picked B, it would just, that's your y-intercept. Okay, it's not your slope. All right, now coming back to this real quick, so the last thing. All right, I'm going to teach you slope. Okay, so also on your star chart or whatever, it has M equals, okay, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. This is also how to find slope without using your calculator. All right, so it's as easy as this. Okay, it's as easy as this. Literally, this is your first x, -4. That is your first x. It's the first one on there. -2 is your second x. Okay, it's literally that, as easy as that. Now, what do you think your first y is? You guessed it, +1. What do you think your second y is? You got it, -1. Okay, so I'm going to label them for you, all right, to kind of make it easier. So once again, this is your first x, x1, -4. -2 is your second x, literally. Okay, and then coming to your y's, all right, your y's, literally, this is the first y, so it'd be, all right, hold up. I don't know why that's so. Okay, so this would be, so 1, the number 1, that's your first y, would be y1. Okay, -1 is your second y, that'd be y2. So you're going to replace them in the formula, in this thing right here. Okay, you're going to replace them in this. Alright, so with that being said, I'm going to do it over here. Alright, I'm going to do this over here. Alright, so m is your slope equals y2, which is negative 1. Okay, I'm going to replace it with negative 1 minus, you got to keep the minus sign in there, minus y1, which would be 1. Okay, all divided by x2 minus x1. So x2, which would be negative 2, okay, negative 2. So x2, which is negative 2, okay, minus, okay, x1. x1 is negative 4 minus negative 4. Now, what you're going to see a lot of people make mistakes over is they're going to just do this. Okay, they're just going to do negative 2 minus 4. Okay, no, that is wrong. Do not do that because you got to do x2 minus x1, which would be negative 4. Okay, that's what the mistake a lot of people make, so don't make that mistake. Alright, so this equals, we know our answer should be negative 1. Okay, your answer should be negative 1. So what is negative 1 minus 1? Alright, so go to your calculator. Okay, go to your calculator. So negative 1. So here's the negative sign on the bottom right. Negative 1 minus 1. Okay. Alright, hold up. I typed that in wrong. Yep, I see what I did. Okay, so negative 1 minus 1. Alright, you should get negative 2. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Alright, so coming back. Okay, so coming back. So negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Let me write this. Negative 2. Okay, divided by what is negative 2 minus negative 4. So you come over here. So you can do this. Or hold on, let me make sure that you're seeing here. Okay, so negative 2 minus, oh, that's negative 22. Now I got myself confused. Sorry. Okay, negative 2 minus negative 4. Okay, negative 2 minus negative 4. So negative 2 minus negative 4. You should get positive 2. Okay, positive 2. Also, a minus turns into a positive. So right here, a minus turns into a positive. So what is negative 2 plus 4? It would just be positive 2. Okay, positive 2. Alright, so what's negative 2 divided by 2? So this would be your answer, negative 2 divided by 2. You come over here, you type it in. So negative 2 divided by 2. You hit enter, and there you go, negative 1. Okay, I'm going to do one more problem, doing it this way because it's the way the high school is going to want you to learn it. Alright, I'm going to make up just a random T-chart real quick. Alright, actually I could go to the quizzes. That would make a lot more sense to help y'all out. Okay, so I'm going to go to the quizzes real quick and grab a T-chart. I think it's like number 14 or something like that. That people are having trouble with. I can't remember. Just looking at the data. Okay, give me a second. Let me go look at the quizzes. I'm just going to pick a random one. Okay, let's go to number 12. Okay, I'm going to go to number 12. Never mind, I do not want to do number 12. That has decimals in it. You know what? Let's do this one. Alright, so this one might have decimals in it too, to kind of, I don't think it does, but we're going to do this one. Alright, so given the 2 points, 2, 3, negative 1, 3, what is the slope? If you're looking at this, there's answers all over the place. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and make a T-chart. Okay, so 2, 3, negative 1, 3. Alright, so I'm going to make a T-chart. Okay, so here's the T-chart. Remember, here's your X's, here's your Y's. Alright, so that being said, okay, so the first point is 2, 3. Okay, so write 2, 3, 2, 3. The other point, I keep doing that. The other point is negative 1, negative 3. So negative 1, negative 3. Okay, Alright, so I'm going to label these real quick. So once again, this is your first x, literally x1. This is your second x, literally x2. This is your first y, it's literally y1. This is your second y, it's literally y2. Okay, so I'm going to do this up here. Slope is y2 minus y1, okay, all divided by x2 minus x1. Always, it's yes, y is always at the top. Okay, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna plug in the numbers. Okay. So y1. All right. Y1 is 3. Okay. I'm gonna do this over here because I have room over here. So y2. Okay. Y2. I'm gonna do it in a different color to help y'all out. Okay. So y2. So I'm going to do -3 minus y1, okay, minus y1, which is 3, so -3 minus 3, all divided by x2, which is -1, so x2 minus x1, which is 2, okay. So when you type this in the calculator, -3 minus 3, you go over here. Okay, you forgot where the negative sign is. Okay, it's at the bottom right of your calculator. -3 minus 3. Okay, should get -6. Okay, so you should get equals -6 divided by, okay, -1 minus 2. Okay, -1 minus 2. -1 minus 2 should get -3. Okay, -3. So it's all -6 divided by -3. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. They cancel out. And 6 divided by 3 would be 2. Just to play it safe, if you want to do it over here, -6 divided by 3, or divided by -3, I'm sorry, divided by -3, which would be positive 2. Okay, and if you forgot how to change it to a fraction or whatever, you hit math, enter. Not that you need to, but it's just a inside help. Alright, so going over here, your answer is positive 2. Okay, and I got it wrong. Let's see what we did. Okay, so 2, 3, -1, 3. 2, 3, -1, -3. And that is wrong. Okay, so you should get positive 2. I don't know why that's not coming up. Alright, let me do this in the calculator as well to check my work. Alright, because I might have messed up somewhere and I can't see it. Alright, so 2, 3. So you hit stat, enter. So delete. Pretty sure I did everything right. So let's see, 2, 3, 2, 3. Over arrow. Okay, over arrow. And then it was -1, -3. So -1, enter, -3. So it's a good way to check your work as well. Okay, so you hit stat, over arrow, go down to linreg, hit enter, go down. Okay, so your slope should have been 2, so I did make a mistake. Alright, no, I didn't make a mistake. Alright, I did not make a mistake. Okay, so that is wrong on the, so I typed all this in, you didn't see it, sorry. So look, I typed it in, hit enter, so 2, 3, -1, -3. I went over to stat, went down to linreg to calculate, and your slope should be positive 2. So if you're like, what in the world, this is wrong on the quizzes, so I'll send out a reminder about that. But yeah, you should have got positive 2. Okay, so yeah, that's wrong on the quizzes. I'll send out a reminder about that. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, just shoot me a remind on the shoot me a text on the Remind app. Okay. Thanks for coming. This has been Slope with Coach Ortiz, and I appreciate you. All right, y'all have a good rest of y'all's day, and I'm out.